unbox the Foil Pro with me. So I started off with the Amazon's basic laminator that was about £25 and it worked almost perfectly, apart from when it nearly sat on fire. So that went back. I then bought another cheap laminator, 20 quid, 4 rollers, and I thought, yes, this is what I need. It's gonna be much closer to what a foiling machine has, which generally has 4 rollers to keep the paper smooth and also to help apply pressure, I believe. So when the Amazon laminator worked perfectly, I would say 80% of the stuff that went through it came out perfectly. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. And the rest of the invites that have been made so far look amazing, but yeah, I have so many bits to them. I have this sort of timeline thing, we have the menu, and then these little cards which is asking people not to take photos on their phone, and then there's the actual main invite bits, but obviously they have personal details so they're not on show right now. And these cute little bands which go around the invite pack. So yeah, lots of bits, lots of card, lots of printing, lots of ink, lots of foil. You want it to be going perfect, more like 95% of the time rather than 80%, and I would say it probably was a little bit less than 80% as well. So let's see how the Amazon Basics laminator holds up to the Foil Pro. Okay, so to start with, in case you don't have any foil and this is the first time using it, it does come with a little bit of foil, actually quite a decent amount of foil, in turquoisey colour and a nice gold. Gold is classic. I feel like you can use that on pretty much everything. And then what are these? So, oh nice, it actually comes with some wallets as well. That's good because I bought the mink ones and they're currently covered in dust, so that will be good for testing. Let's get this out. Okay, so yeah, so this is also A3. The Amazon Basics laminator is very much only A4. So I think this would be really good for actually feeding the invites and stuff through sideways rather than that way. I've seen mixed results of sending things through long way, so I don't know how this would actually cope with A3 stuff going through. I think it might be a bit hit or miss. And then just a little manual as well. Idea to go and pluck the eyebrows mid-review video. They're now nice and pink. But anyway, back to it. Looks pretty good. We've got 3 different heat settings. Nice little logo on there. Let's see how long it takes to warm up. Oh, it's touch fancy. So with the normal laminator, you only have 2 heat settings normally, and then based on thickness, you don't normally get a proper temperature setting. Okay, so as you can see, we have 3 different temperatures. This one is technically for laminating. You see that's 125 microns thick. That's referring to the wallet that would be going over the paper. So we're gonna try the lowest setting first. The highest one might cause wrinkling, so I want to give it a go on the lowest one, and then if it's not good enough we can go up a temperature. And it's all about getting the right temperature with foiling, and each foil you use will probably have a different temperature setting which works best. So hopefully the foil that I have, which is from it's from Patsy May, this is from Pretty Things London, so hopefully the Patsy May foil works really well with this machine. And the light stopped flashing. I didn't actually time that, but I think it was about a minute, if not less, so let's go. So we're going to start with the bands. These were the ones that tended to work well with the other laminator. This has been printed with my laser printer. It's not perfectly smooth card, so I already know it's going to be slightly a problem for these, but most of them have turned out pretty much perfectly, so hopefully this works really well. I also didn't mention that it actually came with 2 size wallets, so I'm using the A4 one because that's the size of my card, but it does also come with an A3 one as well, which is amazing. Let's try and get this in the wallet nicely lined up. Okay, so something I also haven't done is actually run the wallet through without anything in to sort of compress the seam at the side, so hopefully that doesn't affect things, but we're just gonna go for it straight away. Okay, so that is warm. There is some wrinkling, but I can see the shape of the text underneath. So hopefully, this is warm. I think this is hotter than how it used to come out of the laminator. So I don't know if this temperature is actually higher than what the laminator used to do. And that is a little bit patchy at the bottom. Oh no, that's very patchy all the way up. That might be my bad on the way that I put that folder through though, to be honest. So let's try, oh no. Yeah, you should probably also put a carrier sheet. I don't know if you can see that, but I have toner ink all over the folder already. Not good. Put it through that way. I'm going to put it through the right way this time. And by the right way, I mean the seam is at the top rather than on the side. And if this way is a disaster, I'll start again and we'll get a brand new piece of card, brand new piece of foil, and hope that that works. Okay, you know what? That fixed most of the issues. Not all of them, but most of them. So I don't know if you can see this particularly well because the light. Yeah. Let's see if I can pick out a few spots. There's a few bits here where it didn't adhere very well, but that might have been because the first attempt was so wrinkly. So I'm not unhappy with these. Let's give it another go with a fresh piece. And I will try and feed it through flatter, and hopefully that will come out much more cleanly. So I just ran the A3 wallet through a couple times just to try and get that seam a bit flatter, and now we're going to try and put the card in. Okay, so the card's in and I've tried to get that foil as flat as I can, and now I'm going to try and really carefully feed this through. It's quite awkward when it's this size, but I think it went through best when the foil was sideways. Okay, so as you can see, absolutely none of the foil came off that time. And it also came through very wrinkly. The good news is that the foil isn't damaged. But I'm going to try and send it through again this way round this time and see if we can get those little bits fixed. Okay, so I can tell that this is obviously already wrinkly from where it's just gone through. I think it will flatten out a little bit, but let's see if that helps things. Okay, so looking at that, literally none of that has come off. And that might be because I now have foil there already, and this is not wanting to stick to the small tiny bits that are left. But I'm also not unconvinced that it's to do with the transfer folders. So I'm going to quickly try with just a piece of paper over the top and maybe another new bit of foil, because that's now very wonky. And we'll see if that patches these tiny little bits which aren't perfect. Okay, so we have new foil. And then I'm literally just going to put it through with this piece of paper over the top. Make sure that's lined up nicely. Try and get that as flat as possible. Now this is why the transfer folders are good, because it makes it so much easier to pick it up. But I did all of my other ones without a transfer folder. And we're going to see if this has a better result. I'm thinking this time we'll go through portrait. Okay, so still pretty wrinkly, and again that has not stuck at all, but it's very wrinkly. Okay, let's put these aside for 1 minute. I'm going to try with a brand new bit again, but with something that hasn't been foiled already. So let's go get one of the menus. Okay, so the machine is actually heating up again because I accidentally changed the settings, but this is our menu. You can't really see the black on the red at the moment because it is so dark against another dark background. But these came out pretty well with the laminator. Now, someone did make a comment about the lines on the foil and lining that up with the way that you're feeding it through the laminator. And I can't really see any lines on the back, but there are some sort of lines across here, but I'm not sure if that is just the direction that this was rolled around the actual roll of foil, rather than it being something to do with the way that you're meant to feed it through. But either way, this way round is the way around that I did all the other menus, and they were absolutely fine. So we're going through again with the paper transfer sheet, because that is what I used before with just the laminator. It does make it trickier to line up the foil with the actual card, but I feel like this should still work. Annoyingly, when the paper goes through on top, or if you use, when I put the wallet in the way around where it was sideways with the A4, it did crease the corners, and it does seem to crease the corners of these as well, but hopefully that won't matter. Okay, so a little bit wrinkly again, but you can see it has stuck to where the letters are, so let's see how this turned out. Okay, it's still not perfect, but that is still a lot better, I think, than what the bands are coming through. There's the tiniest little bits that aren't covered. I don't know if you can see it very well in this light. Where did I see that bit that was missed? So for example, there, you can see it's not quite perfect. A little bit there. But overall, that's not bad. And I know that this card is not completely perfectly smooth. It looks pretty smooth, but it's not 100% perfect. Either way, I think that was still a much better success than with the folder. And that was portrait, so I'm going to give one a go now that's landscape, and see if that is any better than the portrait with just the transfer paper. So I did the last one portrait, and this one's going to be landscape. I'm going to try and get this nice and flat. This is not a menu, this is my sort of timeline of the day. So let's get this going. A little bit wrinkly, but I can see it's stuck in the right places. damn, yeah, that one did not come out too good. So you can see, well, you might not be able to see, I hope you can see. There's some spots here, but it didn't stick. I was really thinking that it came out perfectly looking at the first bit, which does look, this side looks really good. But there's quite a lot on this second half of this that it just has not stuck down to, and that I think is because it started to wrinkle up. And again, second bit here, not great. That final bit though is really good from a tiny spot there. So inconsistent. It seems the edges are better than the middle bit, which is weird. Let's try it one more time. Portrait again. Okay, so I did actually do the same one again, and it has repaired most of the damage. There's still a couple bits where I'm not perfectly happy with it, but I think that's at least usable now. So I'm gonna do another one, and I'm gonna turn the temperature up. Even though it's wrinkling, I'm just gonna see what the higher temperature does, and then I'm also gonna try the laminator setting on it and see if that's slightly lower temperature than the current setting it's on, which is 135 degrees. If that's slightly cooler, it might help with the wrinkling, because we're foiling, it's a combination of the card, the foil you're using, and the machine you're using. So obviously this is a new machine, it takes a bit of getting used to and a bit of trial and error, so we'll see those different settings and see if that fixes the results. Okay, so we are ready on the 125 micron. It took a little while to get there, so I'm not sure if this is hotter or if it's colder than the foil settings. Okay, I think that looks a bit less wrinkly. It's definitely not as hot, so I'm a bit worried about this. So I think we might have sussed it, but I just realised the last bits I have to actually foil are annoyingly bits which have some of the information from our wedding. So there's a preview of the top part, and I will show you that bit when it's gone through. But actually I think the foil, because I'm not using the folder, the foil is getting too hot, I think, and that's what's causing the wrinkling. So because, yeah, this is obviously a lot thinner without the transfer folder. So I will show you the top half of the results once this has gone through. It's currently on the laminator setting, but that worked really well. Okay, so as you can potentially see, it is still wrinkly, but the last time I did this, it came out pretty good, and that has also come out. Try and get that top half off pretty perfectly. Still not amazingly perfect, but like I said, it's partly probably the paper and potentially the way the ink printed on this card. I think that's because it's not 100% smooth, and that does make a big difference in how the foil comes out. But that has still come out really well. I'm quite happy with that. So that's going to be usable, which is what I wanted. So I think I'm going to carry on that setting for now. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a disjointed follow-on from the last clip, but I carried on trying my best with the Foil Pro, and I tried every setting on the machine, every temperature setting. I tried the Pretty Things London foil and the Patsy May foil. I tried the wallets that it came with, as well as the mink wallet I had. I tried the transfer paper. I tried every single combination, and here are the results. Okay, so here is the red card that I finished off. As you can see, very patchy, little bits in the middle that didn't stick, patchy. I think it's the same pretty much on here, very patchy, not very clear. There's some bits that are good, like this is okay, but then patchy. Yeah, just not great. And I reviewed the back of the cards this is actually really, really smooth. I think with the ink on, it didn't look as smooth as this card actually is. So this card shouldn't be a problem. And as a comparison, this is the foiling result of which came out on the Amazon Basics. And just look how perfect that is. There is not a single patch on there that didn't stick. And yes, I'm covering up the private details which are behind there. But this is sort of proof that this card isn't the issue. And yes, I carried on the rest of the foiling in my PJs, which is why I didn't film the rest of it. Now the white card that I have is definitely not as smooth. There's definitely a very slight texture on the back of this, which you probably can't really see in this camera, but I would be more forgiving of this machine if it was just the cream card that was having issues and the red card was still coming out perfectly, because that is probably a texture issue on the card. And I looked at most of the other results, whilst a lot of them are still a hell of a lot better on the Amazon Basics versus the Foil Pro, that is going to be the limiting factor of that card. So I would have been a lot more forgiving if the red card had come out absolutely perfectly and it was just the white card that was having issues. So again, covering personal details, but there's loads of dust on here now, but this wasn't on here when I was actually foiling. So you can see like there's just big patches where the foil didn't stick at all. And it's the same on pretty much all of them, and I'm almost 100% sure that is just where the foil was wrinkling as it was going through. So I thought long and hard about it, and I decided that ultimately this machine is just not good enough for what I want to do. So I did actually contact Pretty Things London and ask for a return, and they accepted it, and honestly their customer service is absolutely perfect. Like, I had a reply within a day, and you know, I said like, you know, it just didn't work for me. I tried all the settings, tried everything, and yeah, they were really quick to respond, really lovely, like happy to accept the return. So that's gone off, and I've actually ordered myself an Amazon Basics laminator again, but I've gone for the A3 rather than the A4 this time. So yeah, sadly I am gonna have to redo some of the invites that I did do on the Foil Pro, which is really annoying because trying to line up the colour and the toner on this was an absolute nightmare because my printers just do not align together, and obviously means that I've wasted quite a bit of ink, which is a bit sad. But if you guys want to see how the Amazon Basics laminator compares to the Foil Pro, drop me a message or a comment and I will potentially do another video. But yeah, in conclusion, I'm giving the machine a 2 out of 5. It just didn't work well for me, and it's just, I can't justify spending £80 for something that going forward after I've got all my invites done, I'm probably only going to use for the odd card and stuff, or you know, if I ever have any sort of events in future, but I'm not going to be using this for foiling professionally. So for me, 80 quid for something that just didn't work well enough for, well, especially in the way I use it anyway, yeah, just wasn't the one. So there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope it was helpful, and hope that it's helped you make a decision on a foil machine going forward. But before I do go, Pretty Things London foil is actually really, really good. I started off using it for my invites. I ultimately decided that I wanted a slightly less yellow gold, which is why I went for the Patsy May one, because it was just a tiny bit more soft. But I would, yeah, 100% recommend their toner foil, and that's the only thing I can recommend from them because that's the only thing I've ever bought from them before, apart from the Foil Pro. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking, commenting and subscribing, and hopefully see you in the not too distant future.